So we'll be going through those. If you do have questions that don't come up in the ask questions, please place those in the chat and our moderator will make sure that we answer those. And so I would like to turn it over to our president, Dr. Catherine Conway Turner, to open some comments, and then I will return to you to do a brief presentation, and then we're going to go into questions and answers. So President Conway Turner, the Zoom box is yours.
Well, thank you, Vice President Gordon, and welcome, students. It's really great to have you join us today for the day's town hall. We've all been really looking forward to having you back on campus, and now our time is very short, and so very soon you'll be back on campus participating in campus activities, taking classes, and doing all the things that I know you too have been looking forward to. But I just wanted to let you know that we have been working very hard to get prepared for our return to in-person classes and to all of our activities. So we're all very excited. We have convened a number of experts from across campus who can respond to questions you may have about what the fall semester will look like and sort of re-entering or entering into the Buffalo State family space. So we will provide you some information, answer some questions that you've already shared with us, and also give space for any additional questions. But it's just really my pleasure to greet you this afternoon. And really, I'll be very excited to see you back on campus at the end of the month. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Vice President Gordon, and you can get started and we can get our session rolling.
Thank you. And so many of you students heard me talk this summer about flexibility and some of what we knew at the time about restarting campus, and reminding you of that we're all here for you. We are moving through this together, and I cannot underscore that enough. You are not alone, and we certainly all have been challenged by our situation in this pandemic in all sorts of ways, but excited to be moving towards our campus experience. So I'm going to share just a few things I want to highlight for you as you return to campus in terms of support. So Luke, we can go ahead and throw those slides up. Thank you. And so the most important piece is that, as I said, you are not alone. If you are in a class and there are questions or concerns that you might have, certainly we encourage you to reach out to faculty and certainly engage in their office hours if there are things that they can do to assist you with success in class or help direct you towards a resource. Certainly we have a wealth of health and wellness structures. You heard about at orientation this summer, but remember your resident assistant and residence life staff, the staff in the Dean of Students office, many of whom you've heard from, our WIGO wellness area, which includes our counseling, health, wellness, dietetics and nutrition, yoga, meditation, fitness, and wellness activities. So you can find that information at wigo.buffalostate.edu. Don't insulate yourself. And so if you're in class and you start class, get to know a person on either side of you. Start to form those study groups. Get to know your floor mates or your housemates if you're living off campus, to make sure you start to build a little bit of that community. Step out and come to an event. Introduce yourself to someone, but don't go through this alone. I think we will all be successful as we sort of row together and connect with each other. And also don't forget to take care of yourself. You know, you're making a transition certainly to the Buffalo State environment, but you're also making a transition out of maybe a different routine than you've had. So remember, it's a really great place to start with self-care is sleeping regularly, having your healthy routines and diet and those sort of things. Find ways to continue to de-stress, whether that's walking, taking a yoga or meditation class or something like that, and find moments that bring you joy. That's certainly important as we move through all of this. And Luke, we'll go to the next slide. We are launching in the Division of Student Affairs, you heard me talk a little bit about this summer, a website that really we want you to use as one of the sources on the main Division of Student Affairs website that'll give you information on how to reconnect, how to re-engage, and how to renew around connecting with folks on the campus and services that you need to really re-engage in a different way and with this in-person academic and learning and campus environment, and renew you and taking the time to focus on your self-care and well-being so that you maximize your chance to be successful. Got lots of interactive events that are planned, one week I would like to highlight is Prevention Week, because there's lots of self-care and support there, including emotional wellness trivia, some racial healing circles, and therapy dogs, and who can say no to a therapy dog. So so those are just some things you'll be seeing on social media in the next week or so. A welcome back video from me to share with you all of the exciting things you have to look forward to this semester on campus. So make sure you look at those websites and plan to attend some of those events to continue to be engaged in the campus. And again, the Weigo Wellness Center has a number of, and Counseling Center has a number of things for you to support you, particularly around recharging and reaching out, discussions on unique experiences during the pandemic, and creating some safe spaces for emotional health and emotional wellness. We know that that is critical, and we want you to lean into that and make sure you access those efforts and our amazing teams that are there to assist you. And then we also will be encouraging students, faculty, and staff to engage together in regular self-care. So maybe you'll have a chance to see one of your favorite faculty members learning how to do meditation along with you, and really highlighting the importance of, can't emphasize this enough, of reaching out and letting us know what you need, or if you're struggling, or if you know someone who's struggling. Those will be really critical resources for you. And then this is just a little more about some of the efforts that we have in the health center, particularly some support groups that really acknowledge some of the impact of the current pandemic and other situations on different communities, including women of color, some health promotion and wellness programming. So again, ways to engage in wellness. Maybe you don't necessarily need to meet one-on-one with someone, but you need to find that opportunity to de-stress, to be mindful, to look at your self-care regimen. And some programs focused on, say, populations like the LGBTQ plus community and addressing needs there. Other trainings are listed there, including some meditation and screen time burnout workshops. A lot of us have spent time on screens lately, CPR classes, and workshops to help you really work through maybe assessing or managing any tobacco, marijuana, and vaping use. And then, as I said, we've got lots of stuff going on. So you'll all have the chance to engage in our new student convocation on later this month on the 27th. There'll be a jump back in welcome event on the plaza on the 31st. That Prevention Education Week that I shared, Buffalo State Day, which you'll get an invitation in your email to attend virtually and or in person on the 17th of September, and our bingo birthday bash, which will be lots of great cupcakes to celebrate the college's belated official 150th birthday, but lots going on to celebrate our 150th year here at the college in our sesquicentennial. So, and Luke, I think I have one more slide. And if you're looking for a real way to get engaged and you like performing, a little bit of a dancer, maybe not a professional dancer, we're looking for you to participate in some events on Buffalo State Day and during our homecoming halftime show. So feel free to sign up for that. There'll be a link to sign up for that in the chat below. So just lots of ways we want to make sure you know how to be engaged, how to get services to support you and yourself. But again, we are all in this together. We're here for you, and we want to make sure that you know there are lots of places to reach out. Don't worry about whether it's the exact person. Reach out, and then we will take care of the rest for you. Okay. So we're going to turn now back to the questions that you all submitted as a part of the sign up for the session today. And President Conway Turner, not surprising, there are questions about how and where we're requiring the vaccine, when and where we need to wear masks, and generally what are our COVID-19 safety protocols.
Well, thank you. And so I'm going to ask Dr. Doyle to talk a bit about protocols, vaccination, and all those good things.
I thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. We're looking forward very much for you to return to campus. It's very exciting for our team to see finally some students on campus, or more students on campus. With that being said, your safety and safety of our campus community is the utmost priority for us. And that being said, we will always be following the rules of our local health department, the state health department, and the policies here at Buffalo State College. That also being said, Make sure that you check out the communications that are going out frequently. Those communications may change at any time given the changes in guidances that may occur with the public health information for the COVID-19 response. Here at Buffalo State College, we will be requiring masks indoors at all times for both vaccinated and unvaccinated students at this time. We will also be requiring the vaccine for our residential hall students, our athletes, and to use certain facilities such as the fitness center. We encourage all students to get vaccines before returning to campus. Vaccines may be mandatory if SUNY does decide to make all SUNY campuses have the vaccine. So if SUNY does make that policy change, we will also be following that policy change, that all students will need to be vaccinated at that point in time. If you are coming to campus, you will need to, at this point, you will need to provide us with a negative COVID test 5 days within coming to campus. All that information can be found at Weigel.buffalostate.edu, welcome back section. And I think that's all I have at this point. Thank you, Kate.
So our next set of questions really come around what will classrooms look like, how full will they be, et cetera. So President Conway Turner, I'll let you designate who might take that question.
Well, I know this is very much on everyone's mind, and so I'm going to turn it over to our provost, Jim Mayrose, to talk a bit about the expectations and what students will see in classes this fall.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. And as you just heard from Dr. Doyle, according to guidance, we will all be wearing masks in the classroom. We do not have social distancing any longer as of now. So classrooms will be back to their capacities. We have different size classrooms. We also have some of the lowest, the smallest classes when you look at other SUNY institutions, and that's for a reason. We like to have the student faculty ratio better for learning. So you'll see roughly on average about 20 to 25 students in your class, which will be wearing masks. Faculty will be masked. And as guidance changes, we'll be in touch. We will also be a very important component. We are looking at not really assigned seating, but once you pick a spot in the class, the faculty member will be tracking where you're sitting, just in case we have outbreaks like we did, when COVID first started. It's easier for us to track. So we will be providing faculty with that, basically a design of the class. And once you pick your seat, that'll be it for the semester. So look out for that. Faculty will explain that to you actually when you get in the classroom.
And
So,
Jim, you want to talk a little bit about classes being in person, online?
Yes.
Want to characterize that a little bit?
Good point. Sorry about that. Yes, we are back to basically pre-COVID numbers. So 80% of our classes are either in person, which is face-to-face, or a hybrid, which is part face-to-face and part online. Roughly about 20% of our classes are fully online, and we do provide a number of, so if you take a look, there are a lot of options. If you want to take a class online in your field, sometimes we offer both, and there are times when we do not. So there are a lot of options available. If you have special needs, definitely I need you to talk to your faculty member. We can see what we can provide for you. But we are back to what we're looking at as pre-COVID environment for teaching.
So on a slightly different note, going back to vaccines, there's a couple questions that are related. One is, will the vaccine be required if the FDA does not approve it? And two, will off-campus students need to have the vaccine?
Okay, so we'll turn that back over to Rock Doyle to talk about vaccines again.
Sure. At this point, the stance on SUNY side is that if and when the vaccine gets FDA approval, it will be required. So that's the current thought processes as of right now. Again, this isn't policy that has come out yet. So it can be expected, though, if it is FDA approved, that you will be required to get the vaccine. As of right now, if it's not FDA approved, you will not be required to get the vaccine. But you will need to follow the protocols of unvaccinated individuals on campus. Thank you, Kate.
And Dr. Doyle, before we let you go, there was a question in the chat about how do students provide proof of their vaccination?
Again, if you are vaccinated in New York State, you will not have to provide proof of vaccination to us. We'll already have that information here on file at the Weigel Health Center. If for some reason you receive a notification from us stating that we do not have your vaccine on file, or if you're an out-of-state resident, you will be provided with information on how to provide us with that vaccine information and proof of your vaccination. And all that is again going to be at weigel.buffalostate.edu. Welcome back section.
So, and I also just want to underscore that I talked this summer about the importance of paying attention to your social media, the college's social media channels, your email, and that coronavirus webpage where we post all of the major communications sent to students. So there's a student section. So that's another resource for you. But as guidance changes, requirements change, any of those things will be communicated first via email, then posted to the website and posted to related office websites. So please do make sure and communicate it on social media. So please do make sure you're paying attention to those channels. I want to shift a little bit because, of course, as we get new students are getting acclimated to how the campus works, there's a few things that are questions in the pre-submitted questions. So the first one that I would share, President Conway-Turner, is a student has a question about financial aid, how it works, how they'll receive their award letter, how to go about paying for each semester. No one in their family has been through this before. So maybe some tips and tricks and some general information and resources.
Thank you. Absolutely. So I'm going to toss this one to Vice President Loretto to talk a bit about financial aid.
Thank you, President Conway-Turner. And we actually have one of our specialists from the financial aid office. We have Associate Director Lisa Tremaine, and I'm going to ask her to address the question on financial aid, please.
Great. Hi, my name is Lisa Tremaine. So in general, you file the 21-22 financial aid application. It's not too late if you haven't done that yet, but you should do it soon. You'll receive an award letter from us electronically. It'll go to your Buffalo State email account if you have paid the deposit. If you haven't paid your deposit yet, it'll go to your self-reported email account. Basically, if you're eligible for grants, they will just be accepted for you. If we award everybody loans. And if you are interested in borrowing a student loan, you have to actively go into Banner to accept them. You don't have to accept the full amount. You can accept a reduced amount. And for new students or any student who hasn't borrowed a student loan before, you also have, excuse me, you also have to go to studentaid.gov, sign in with your FSA user ID and password, and do the master promissory note and the entrance counseling for the student loan. That's required for all first-time borrowers, whether you're a transfer student and didn't borrow anything at your previous institution, or an incoming freshman who's going to borrow a loan. In terms of work study, if you were awarded work study, you will receive an email in a week or so telling you how to go about conducting your job search. I mean, that's just general information. If there's anything else I can answer.
So I know that some of our students are, this is the first time they've, dove into this world of financial aid. So for questions, specific questions or clarifications, or someone to help people walk through, could you talk a little bit about how they connect with us, and who they should connect with to get help?
Sure, no problem. There are several ways that you can contact our office. We are open from 8:30 till 5, Monday through Friday, and our customer service counter is open, has been for about a year now. So you're certainly welcome to stop by the office. Just remember, you have to wear your mask. And you can call the office at 716-878-4902. And we have representatives, again, 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, to answer any questions that you might have. You can also email our office. We answer emails all day, every day. And our email account is finaid@buffalostate.edu. We are not taking in-person appointments yet at this time, but we are doing telephone appointments. So if you would like to set up an appointment to go over your award letter or whatever the case may be with one of our advisors, you can call the office and set up a telephone appointment, and one of the advisors during that time will just call you at the time of your appointment.
So we've got a few questions coming in the chat. So I see those, and I'm trying to work through both sets of questions. And so there was a question, just staying in this vein of acclimating to campus. There was a question about will there be campus tours, or when will they be campus tours offered? And so I assume that Vice President Loretto might want to take that, President Conway Turner.
Absolutely. To you, David.
Thank you very much. So our tours are offered Monday through Friday, and anyone who's interested in signing up for a tour can sign up at our website, which I'll post in the chat in just a second here. And then as part of, will anything be available on at the convocation? We'll have, sorry.
No, go ahead. I was assuming you were asking David or Luke if there may be tours as a part of convocation. I believe there will be. I don't know, David might have stepped away, so.
I apologize. So yes, we will, as part of Banglebound on Sunday, members of the BEAT team will be hosting campus tours, and students can meet in the student union lobby in that afternoon. Those hours will be posted on our student leadership and engagement website. Those official hours, I believe they are 1 to 3 p.m. But details on Banglebound will be posted next week for a full detailed schedule.
And that'll be on the student leadership and engagement website. The other set of questions that have come in are really around sort of how does moving into housing work? How was my assignment determined? How do I navigate that process?
Okay, so who's on the call to take that? Is Bill on?
I think he is.
Okay, there you are. Thank you. Didn't see you for a minute.
I'm eating and enjoying the town hall, and I just thought it might be awkward if people were watching me eat in my office. So similar to when Lisa was talking about financial aid, if you have specific questions about your housing assignment or your particular situation, I would really encourage you to either email or call our office. And I'm certain that before I could type the words, somebody's going to drop our email and phone number into the chat. It's just reslife@buffalostate.edu or 878-3000. Thanks, Luke. So if you have really individualized questions, similar to like if you have a really specific question about your financial aid, I'd encourage you to reach out to financial aid. Please give us a call or shoot us an email. We're open 8:30 to 5 every Monday through Friday, both actively checking our email and answering the phone. Move-in, though, there will be an email later this week that gives all of the specific details about what you do on the day that you are scheduled to arrive. That will include some additional details around if you need to bring, if you have not yet submitted your COVID vaccination information, you can still do that in advance, but if you've got to bring it with you, what to do if you are partially vaccinated, when you arrive to campus, as well as then what to do on that specific day. In general, if you are a new student, you're arriving on Thursday, the 26th, and all students will check in at the sports arena and complete that check-in process there, get your keys, and then you'll be able to proceed to your building in order to move in your belongings. I see a question in the chat there. You do not need to bring your own desk chair. Bed, dresser, desk, chair, nightstand, all provided in your room for you. So we'll get all of that out this week. In general, move-in will be between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., but you will have the opportunity to sign up for a specific time frame on that day, so that we can, although there's the guidance is not as crazy as at this point last year about density reduction, we're still going to try and keep our density down during that move-in period. It just makes everybody happier and makes move-in faster and makes the elevators go faster. So you'll have the opportunity to pick a time slot on that day in order to arrive to campus.
So another set of questions have come in around how do I submit proof or know that Weigel has proof of my vaccination? And so that is, certainly I think a couple of questions that have come in. The other trend in that set of questions is what happens if the requirement for the vaccine is approved and I'm already enrolled and now required to do the vaccine? Will I still be allowed to attend classes?
So the answer to the first part is, again, if you been vaccinated in New York State, we will have that information readily available. You do not need to send that in unless you get notification from us that we do not have that information. Again, that information can be found at Weigel.buffalostate.edu. You scroll down to the bottom to the welcome back section, and information on that will be there. On the other, if SUNY does mandate the policy, we will let you know at that time what that requirement is. I cannot tell you at this point if they will require it within the 30-day time frame, or they will allow you to wait till the next semester. Those are all going to be policies made through SUNY, and we will then, of course, inform the students of those requirements if they come to fruition. As of right now, if you're unvaccinated, you are welcome to attend campus, but please understand there may be some restrictions and you will have to follow the information located on the coronavirus website, and that's coronavirus.buffalostate.edu/students.
But I would also add to that we do encourage all of our students to get vaccinated. So even though it's not required, that we really encourage you to get vaccinated before you come, if at all possible, so that you're really not dealing with whatever time frame whenever FDA gets the approval for the vaccine.
Of course, and that's a very important message. Everybody should be vaccinated to protect the health of themselves and the others around them. If you're looking where you can get vaccinated, you can also go on the Weigel Health Center site, and we'll direct you to where you can find your vaccinations. Many vaccines are readily available in supermarkets and in pharmacies at this time as well.
And Dr. Doyle, the question came in, and maybe you could clarify, if a student is vaccinated and they're moving in, do they still need to provide the negative COVID test?
They will not need to provide the negative COVID test at that point in time. No.
Thank you. So the other theme of questions that were in the ones that were pre-submitted is really talk a little bit about what sort of campus life will look like. How do I get connected to work, clubs and organizations, those sorts of things, President Conway Turner?
Absolutely, and I'm sure you're all eager to hear about opportunities and to get engaged. So David Cox, are you on the screen somewhere?
I am. How are you today?
Fine, how are you?
Great. We're looking forward to welcoming all of our students back to campus, and we have a great set of programs starting with our weeks of welcome, which will take us from when our students check into campus with our residence life programs, starting with our convocation program, as Dr. Gordon was talking about. So we have our convocation program starting off on Friday and a full slate of programs for our students through the first weekend. moving into our Jump Back event on the first Tuesday to welcome and kick off our reintroduction of Bengal Paws on Tuesday at our Jump Back In event, and a full slate of events for our students through the month of September in our weeks of welcome. And that can all be found on our sle.buffalostate.edu website. So we are really looking forward to welcoming our students back in full engaging programs. And that does lead right into our 150th anniversary celebration and our homecoming events. So we do look forward to welcoming everybody back and getting our clubs and orgs back off the ground.
David, some related questions. How do I find a job? When will I get my student ID? How easy is it to get around campus?
Yeah, so that's some great questions there. So ID cards can be applied for online so that when they check in, they can get their ID cards right at check-in. So in order to do that, they would have to go online and apply for their ID card. They can submit their photo right online. I'm sure somebody can drop that link in the chat for us there so they can apply. And then when they check in on campus, they can grab their ID card right there on the first day. Moving around campus is fairly easy. We have some great maps that are available online. We always have those available in the Student Union at our Welcome Center as well, so they can easily navigate campus. The first couple of days of campus, we always have folks in our Student Union lobby directing folks around. We are the heart of campus and always available to assist you. And sorry, Dr. Roden, what was that third question you had asked?
How do I find a job?
Oh, finding a job is always the fun question there too. Our CDC, our Career Development Center, is available to help and assist. We could drop the link for the Career Development Center in there. They do put up a listing of student jobs and campus jobs, as well as community jobs for them to find as well.
Thank you. And we had a question about, sorry, go ahead, President Conway-Turner.
Yes, before you move on, David, you mentioned Bengal Paws. So these are new students. They don't know what Bengal Paws is. So would you describe what that is that we're going to jump back into?
Yeah, so that's a great tradition we have here at Buffalo State. Bengal Paws is every Tuesday and Thursday here at Buffalo State from 12:15 to 1:05. It's a period of our day where we take a break in our day. Clubs and organizations have an opportunity to meet. There's traditionally no classes scheduled during that time. So our clubs and organizations meet. We generally gather in the Student Union. There's some tabling opportunities available. Just a great time of the day to come over, grab some good food from Chartwell's. We know that Chartwell's has some great new opportunities coming, Glenn. So we look forward to some great things happening in our Student Union. But it's an opportunity for us to pause in our day, to gather, attend clubs and organizations, get some business done on campus, meet and greet with one another, and be social. So it's a great tradition that Buffalo State has, something unique to our campus, and a great way to meet other Buffalo State Bengals.
And one more thing, Tim, before we move on, since David did mention great food, Glenn is on. So Glenn, could you tell our new students some of the great food opportunities that they'll have available to them this fall?
I'd love to. Thank you very much. So first of all, we do have the Bengal Kitchen. The Bengal Kitchen is your all-you-care-to-eat dining hall, and we have multiple stations there, from a deli that has a rotisserie chicken, panini makers, to exhibition station where we do fresh cooked salmon and pecan crusted chicken, to our global cuisine station, where we really focus on our authentic offerings, and we rotate those throughout the month. And then we've got pizza, which we just got done with Rich's, and the chef came in to go over our New York style pizza crust that we'll be offering this coming semester, and many more things over in the Bengal Kitchen. But on the retail side of life, we've got multiple concepts over there. One being our fully licensed Starbucks Cafe, which is in the Butler Library, which is a very popular spot so far, and we can't wait to be fully loaded again this semester. And we've got 3 new concepts. I know they're all new to you, but we have True Burger, which has a fresh Angus beef burger that's cooked to order with seasoned fries and hand-spun milkshakes, where we donate 3% of the revenues back to fight food insecurity here on campus, which is awesome. And we've got Subway. We've got Two Taco, which is think street tacos with a little bit of chips and queso and Jamaican beef patty mixed in. And we are the first campus to be able to offer Frank and Teresa's Anchor Bar nationally. And we are really looking forward to having Anchor Bar here on campus. We'll obviously have the wings, the hand-breaded chicken tenders and boneless chicken, beef on whack, and all the things that Anchor Bar is known for. And then finally, we have Boost Mobile, which allows you to be able to order your food remotely, pay with your campus card, and then we've got food lockers installed. So it's a touchless experience. You walk up, you put your phone in front of the locker, and the locker will open up, and you can take your food with you. So just a few. Sorry, it might have taken a little long, but there's so many things in dining, and we can't wait to see you. So my team is always out there trying to make sure that we've got everything for you to be successful. So we look forward to seeing you in the fall. Thank you.
Thank you. And I know Luke put the Boost Mobile information in there if you want to do some pre-ordering and get that food from a food locker or do some grab and go. That is there for you. The other question that came through just lately was how to submit COVID-19 test results. I think Dr. Doyle dropped something in the chat, but maybe want to address that to the group.
Sure, there'll be a link shortly on the, you'll hear me say this over and over, the weigel.buffalostate.edu website. Again, what students need to know in the welcome back section. That information is not active as of yet, but it will be up shortly. You will also be receiving an email. Unvaccinated students will be receiving an email with that information in that as well within the next few days.
So, and Phil, there was a question that came up about bringing some personal furniture. Any advice for students about how they should plan to pack and coordinate bringing stuff for their room?
So I did some one-on-one communication on that one as well. But in general, and this one I'll grab and drop in the chat. We have a what to bring and what not to bring list on our website, which, hang on one second, let me drop that in. That one, I'm not sure that Luke would get to that one as quick as I did. So if you are, that is not necessarily an exhaustive list, but it is a lot of things that we consider you thinking about both bringing and then leaving behind. Somebody once joked with me that you should pack your car and then take out half. I'm not sure if that still holds true necessarily, but I do find that a lot of our students bring things and then realize that they didn't necessarily need them. So I'd encourage you to pack the essentials, the things that are going to make you feel like your room is your home, because it is while you're here. We do allow all of the normal deliveries to campus that you might get at your house. So yes, you can order things from Amazon or Target or Walmart or your favorite other vendor. And so those things can get delivered if you do forget something, or if you're coming by plane, train, bus, and you can't bring all of those things with you. Obviously, we do allow those things to get delivered. And we'll likely have a new mail situation happening for the halls this fall. We're not yet ready to kind of roll that out, but look for that information when you arrive to campus. But our website does include all of the information about how you appropriately address a package or piece of mail for your student or for yourselves. So feel free to check that out too. And in a second, I'll drop that into the chat as well.
So there was another question about whether or not students could work off campus, and the answer to that is yes. The Career Development Center has a number of job postings on their website, and you can use Bingo Link. If you go to cdc.buffalostate.edu and access Bingo Link, that's a place you can sign up for your account and get job postings and look at job postings and all that good stuff. It'll be a really important resource for you too, as you move through your experience with resume development, internships, those pieces. So I know many of you got a presentation from them at orientation this summer. So that's another great resource. The other theme of questions that's come in, President Conway Turner, is for students to figure out how they find a club or organization or get connected with a club or organization.
So there's probably many people that can address that, but I think Dean Young is on the screen. So we want to talk a little bit about how students can connect it to the many organizations that we have.
Sure. So I would suggest you start looking at Bengal Connect, which I know you also heard about during orientation, I'm sure, from your BEAT team members, as well as the staff from Student Leadership and Engagement. And I believe even Vice President Gordon in his welcome talked about Bengal Connect. But it's a good way to peruse what's already in existence on campus and functioning as clubs and orgs that you can communicate with them, contact them via Messenger. We will have an open time for you to meet with clubs and orgs and fraternities and sororities during the first few weeks of classes through our weeks of welcome programming that Luke mentioned earlier on this session. And then I would also say, for some students, they don't find what they're looking for in clubs and orgs, and that's a good time to connect with Student Leadership and Engagement to find out how to start a club, or talk to your faculty if it's in your major and you're thinking, hey, I really want something more focused on this part of my major. They can assist you in working with them and Student Leadership and Engagement to find out how to work with clubs and orgs. There's also going to be intramurals. The fitness center will be open. And so those are other ways that are tangential to clubs and orgs, but another good way to connect with fellow Bengals who have similar interests with you. We have yoga, which I think Dr. Doyle talked about earlier. And again, those aren't clubs, but they do meet regularly, and they're a way for you to connect with other folks who have similar interests as you. So I hope that covered a little bit, and thanks for putting that in the chat, Luke, about weeks of welcome and starting a new org and our Bengal Connect.
Great. And then President Conway Turner, there's a question about how do I find out what my classes are or where my classes are? So I think this is probably a two-pronged question in terms of where I find the actual information for what I was registered for and how I navigate to get to those spaces.
Absolutely. And I think I'll call on Associate Provost Wall to talk a little bit with students about how they can figure out their class schedule and how they can find those classes that first time.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So if you log into Banner, and I can put the link into the chat, you will be able to see your schedule. And then if you do the detailed look of your schedule, the course building will be located as well as the times. And the Friday before the first day of classes, there is academic convocation. Many of your professors, advisors will be there, and we can offer a walkthrough of your classes so that you'll know where the buildings are.
Thank you.
And then there is a very ambitious question, I think in the chat, but one that is so critical and something to start thinking about is, when should undergraduate students start to look at graduate school?
That is an interesting one. So Provost, you want to talk a bit about that?
Certainly. I would say to that, as soon as possible. If you're thinking about an advanced degree, we want to hear from you. Talk to your faculty in the classes that you're interested in, maybe pursuing one of the degree programs that we have. Speak with your advisor. But again, typically, as most students that I hear from are thinking about that in their junior year, but I have heard some that have plans as freshmen of what they want to do, and we want to be here to support you. So the sooner you talk to someone, talk to an advisor or a faculty member, the better we can get you and keep you on that path to success. So the sooner you know, let us know.
All right, and I think we have made it through our list of questions, so I will leave the chat and floor open for any final questions if students have them. We are so excited. Always a fun time to spend time with our new students and see your excitement and enthusiasm for how you will leave a mark on the campus. And so I can tell by the chat that this is going to be a lively group, and I can't wait to see many of you in person. So
Tim, I want to throw out a question that came up in our last town hall. And that is, some of you may have received some sort of accommodations in high school, or you have a particular health concern and you're wondering how you might connect here on campus. So I know we have a couple of folks from our accessibility services on the line. So could someone sort of talk to students a little bit about how you can connect? Maybe Amy, I think I see you on the line.
Sure. So if a student has a disability and they are interested in learning more about accommodations, they should contact our office. And Luke, could you put our information in the chat, our email address and phone number, and also the website?
Yes, I can
And-
post it shortly.
Thank you. Awesome, thank you. So what happens is a student reaches out to us for a discussion about their disability-related functional limitations. We are looking at documentation of disability. We are having an interactive process with the student, and we are determining with the student and with the treating source, we're getting an idea of what would be an appropriate accommodation set up for the student. And we are going to be having some in-person intake appointments, and we're also doing virtual appointments. We've been doing virtual appointments for a long time, and we're comfortable with doing them, and they're easy to do, and we can start them right away. And all the student needs to do is just reach out to us in one of the ways that I just mentioned, and we can set up that meeting. And during the meeting, the student can have so many questions, and we will answer all of the questions and guide them. Sumana, would you like to add to that?
Nope. I also want to say that we have a lot of resources like technology and things things that will support in the learning for the students. So if there are any questions, direct it to us and we will help you as best we can.
Thank you. There are a couple other questions in the chat. One, President Conway Turner, is if I need to leave class for any reason, how does that work in this environment?
Okay, so that's a real shift between high school and college. So Provost, talk a little bit about the independence of a college student.
Certainly. There are times when you have to leave class, and if you can do that quietly, not to disrupt the rest of the class, by all means. If you know you have to miss a class or you are ill, please communicate with the faculty member. You'll get a syllabus that will describe everything about the class, what'll happen there, what you're being graded on. Sometimes attendance is part of that. So you'll need to communicate with the faculty member to make sure that you don't miss anything and that you can keep going. But again, if you have to get up to use the restroom or anything, just as quietly as possible, go ahead and do what you need to do. It is quite a bit different than high school, quite a bit different. You'll be responsible for things on your own. So again, as Vice President Gordon mentioned, getting involved with your fellow classmates and creating study sessions and things like that, you'll all get accustomed to it and help each other through. So.
Yeah, the ownership of your education in college is something that is a shift from high school. And so you are responsible to get yourself to understand your syllabus and what you need to do, and contact your faculty member and stay on target. And so it is a nice and hopefully quick learning experience to move from someone telling you what you need to do to you actually being an agent for yourself. So it's going to be an exciting time.
So there are a couple technology related questions. One, are there any recommended laptops? And there was another question that just came in the chat about why more faculty don't have digital materials.
All right. I'll throw that back to you, Provost.
Okay, I can respond to the digital materials. Over the last year, but we had to transition due to COVID, we had to transition to remote. So many of the materials now, faculty do have digitally and online. So if you miss a class, that'll help. If we have to transition, if unfortunately guidance changes and we would have to go back to remote, we have trained our faculty now to be better prepared to be online. Whereas before it was a quick transition. There was 2 weeks over spring break that we had to train, get everybody up to speed. We've now learned a lot over this last year. So there's a lot available to you. If you have to miss class or something comes up, please reach out to your faculty and they will provide, they'll make accommodations for you. When it comes to oh, go ahead.
There are general recommendations on laptops on the IT website. I'm not sure if you can grab them and send them to students now. But within your department, sometimes there is specific software that you will need. And so you'll be guided by your faculty as to what you need, once you're in a specific major.
Thank you. And then President Conway Turner, the other question that came in just recently was, what is the threshold that might prompt us to have to go back to remote instruction?
Well, I think that any of us could kind of talk about that. Really, we're following guidance, CDC guidance, Erie County guidance, and so forth. So at this point, we're just looking forward to being in person. But if something were to happen and we would receive guidance that we need to no longer be in person, of course, we would pivot to doing that. Since we have been in that space before, we're quite prepared for that, and we know how to move in that space. But we would be following guidance, and we would be communicating to you that choice before it happens, so you would know as we're moving in that direction.
And if I could add to that, I think, the safest way for us to move forward is to certainly wear our masks where we need to be wearing our masks. And then secondly, if you can get vaccinated, be vaccinated. If you still need to do some research or have conversations, talk to a trusted medical provider of yours to talk about the benefits of getting the vaccine. But that will be one of the safest ways that we can move forward. We know it is one of the safest ways to tamp down and avoid the population or sort of taking hold of any sort of variant, the larger the percentage of the population are vaccinated. So there are a couple of action items you can take, and certainly I would encourage you to educate yourself if you haven't been vaccinated to make sure you understand the benefits of that. Other questions folks have? We're going to be welcoming you all in just a few short weeks. It's so exciting, especially, given the past couple of years that we haven't seen your smiling faces in person. So, though I feel like I know you all through Zoom. So, well, I thank everyone for being here. President Conway Turner, I'll let you close with your comments.
I want to thank everyone for joining us and asking questions so that we could respond to you. But as you heard throughout our hour together, that all these offices, as represented by the leaders you have, are here ready and willing to respond to any specific questions you have, any unique questions, or questions that you may think about in the days to come. So please feel free to reach out to any of us to ask any questions that you have. And as Vice President Gordon said, we're really looking forward to having you back on campus. It's going to be a really great fall. And we look forward to just jumping back into the excitement of Buffalo State. So I'll see you in person in just a couple of weeks.
Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Take care. Thanks.